All right, let's get you updated on our ag commodity trade on a Tuesday. I'm Marlin Bohling with you, your tour guide, and let's take a look at our corn market here. Our quotes are provided by Bar Chart, and here we go with that December contract. It is still higher, but it has backed off of its high a little bit. We are now trading 2 3/4 higher at 472.5. Now it's 3 higher. March corn 3 3/4 higher at 491.25. Boy, the soybeans really came charging out of the gate this morning, and they surged ahead, and now they have eased back quite a bit. January now 10 3/4 higher. We're now at 1378 after a high of 1389.25. So they've trimmed off 11 cents already from their earlier high. So it's kind of a case of volatility again here in the soybeans today. Now on the wheat in Chicago, December is just a 1 3/4 higher at 545.25. While the soybeans are like a bottle rocket, the wheat market is kind of like a sparkler. On Kansas City wheat, you have December just 1/4 cent higher at 610 3/4. In spring wheat trade in Minneapolis, December is up 4. We're at 711.25, so it's performing better than the KC wheat is right now. Cotton market today, you have the December contract 67 lower at 77.30. However, it's off of its earlier low this morning by about 60 points or so, maybe a little more than that. Also wanted to point out we had big moves earlier last night in the oats, and it's still trading 5.5 higher on December at 352 3/4. And even that's about 3.5 cents off of its overnight high. There at one point it was up 9. Interesting stuff in the oats. You don't see that a lot. Well, I want to bring in Ben Hushon, and he is with the mill in Whitehall, Maryland. He joins us right now to give us an update on the Mid-Atlantic region there. All right, Ben, I know you've been really perplexed by how dry it has been lately, and Tim Ross just pulled up the radar screen for your area. Well, guess what? It looks like you're going to get a Thanksgiving present here with some moisture coming up.
Good morning, and happy Thanksgiving, Marlin, to you and all your teammates at RFD-TV. Yes, that's exactly what it looks like. And that's why I could not find a combine moving yesterday to gather a video or anything of. Pretty much looks like harvest is 99% wrapped up. And it's all about the dry weather we've had. Probably 4 or 5 weeks easily that we haven't really had any measurable rain. And for the viewers, I sent in a couple pictures. 2 of them, I set a cup out in the field. That was wheat that was planted October 2nd. So been in the ground a while, popped up. But then about half of those other pictures are ground that we had planted or folks had planted cover crop on the 1st of November. And there's not a sign of any of that even sprouted in some cases. So we are going to welcome this rain and probably appreciate that Tim didn't set the temperature at 29 this morning. We're sitting at 39, and it just started raining.
So if that's the case, does that change the way you have to treat that new wheat crop here?
I don't think so. Sometimes you get a real good fall. The last couple of years, if we have a good fall, it gets a little too much growth sometimes on it. You got to check it for aphids. There's been some reports, eastern shore of Maryland, of aphids, which then bring in the barley yellow dwarf. And I know we're talking wheat, but the disease is called barley yellow dwarf on the wheat. So that we're going to have to watch out for, just depending on how the rest of the month goes and on into December, temperature and moisture.
Well, I know I've talked with you for a couple of years about the problems getting supplies, like for spring planting, whether fertilizer is going to be available, whether you can get the chemicals you need for the farmers if they want to buy it ahead, and that sort of thing. So has that pretty much been rectified now as you head into next year's growing season?
I would say so, Marlin. There's been some adaptation. The East Coast, where we operate, the majority of the phosphorus, for instance, or about half, majority of nitrogen and a significant amount of phosphorus had been imported, was taken in along the coast. Some of that has changed. I know the phosphate, because of the CVD situation that I know you've discussed numerous times on other parts of your news show. That's pretty much stopped a lot of the Russian imports in Morocco of phosphorus, and that's been replaced with some other sources, including a little more out of the Midwest. So the supply chain has been refilled pretty confidently, pretty much.
Interesting stuff. Well, Ben, all the best to you and yours for a great Thanksgiving. I appreciate all the reports you give us throughout the year, and hope you get a little time to rest and relax here this weekend, and we'll check in next week and see what's going on in that area by then. That's Ben Hushon of the Mill. He's in Whitehall, Maryland, close to the Pennsylvania border. We'll pause right here, and we'll come back, and we'll get you updated on our livestock trade right after this.